Welcome everybody, just take a seat, relax. So before we move to Ernestine and Scott, I would like to tell a bit about the deep dives. We do them as part of the preparation for the biggest hackathon in Europe, which used to be, aka the biggest blockchain hackathon in the world. I think it's very important that all the potential clients that work with the teams at the hackathon, and the people from the Dutch Central Bank and the Authority for Financial Markets are there, and many other policymakers from ministries and the EU, is that we learn as much as we can before the hackathon takes place, so that we can build the best solutions. And if we stick with the problems a bit longer, well, then eventually and discuss them with all kinds of points of view, then we get something better out of that. So today we have Ernestine Meijer. She's going to talk about especially the integrity of the whole the payment system we have, and the AML-D5 regulations that could be actually it could be an opportunity for new players. And Scott Nelson, CEO of SweetBridge. And SweetBridge is developing a commonized economic protocol for more efficient or more effective supply chains. And they have traveled the whole world in getting that right at the regulatory level. So that's very exciting to hear his learnings and his view on what can be done in the Netherlands, because it's not exactly the first time you're here and doing already a lot of business here. Then more from the investor and international blockchain development boutique point of view, Cassius Kiani. He's working with Stephen Tual, and they have some interesting experience, of course, with the DAO in 2016, as well as talking with all kinds of international regulators on how to move their projects forward, because some of those projects are tokenized. And then Martijn Wismeijer and quite, I would say, famous in the Dutch crypto scene, because you actually have stored some bitcoins in your hand, right? Yeah, and on a chip. And he distributes cryptocurrency ATMs, and he's now over 2,000 ATMs with tens of millions of revenue each week, that is. Month, okay, but that's growing rapidly, and it's very interesting because how are they handling all the regulatory stuff that you need to take into account. And after that, you can pick your favorite speaker and really dive deeper into what exactly do you want to know from them. And so we don't do the Q&A plenary, we do that for each speaker. And then, of course, drinks. As you can see, we have some slack in the program because we have enough time to have the drinks. So take your time today, feel relaxed. We're not regulated here, so we can just talk to each other if you want to know everything. I mean, this is to establish a dialogue between different worlds who very often meet, and they can learn a lot from each other. What the DutchChain Discovery Program is all about is creating collaborative, interconnected communities that develop and use public digital infrastructure. If we look at, for example, the digital payments infrastructure, it's publicly used, it's privately owned. It's what we know from Google, it's what we know from Facebook, it's what we know from Twitter. And there's an alternative. Suddenly it was there. And that's, of course, the public version of a payment network. And it's called Bitcoin, or you can do it with Ethereum or Litecoin or whatever. But now we have public payment networks that are owned by no one and can be used by everyone. Petra was talking about access. Do I have access in the payment system in a way that I can create another banking app? Well, I would love to. So what we are looking for is solutions. Solutions where we see the extension of our digital infrastructure, our public digital infrastructure, which everybody can use, no one owns. We move away from the Uber model where you own the market, where you own that protocol, and we move towards a new balance between the public and the private. Not only the public sector and the private sector, but also the actual public and me as a private business owner or a private person, a sovereign human being that wants to contribute in networks. And we have all kinds of needs to register and communicate all kinds of truths globally. So that's what we are looking for. And we're doing that already for the 3rd year, discovering by actually building it. And we expect about 100 teams for the hackathon in April. So the whole program is growing quite a lot, because last year we had 64 teams. Who was there last year at the hackathon? Okay, so if you want to share experiences, feel free. And that's why we choose the hashtag commonization, because a common solution is something that nobody owns and everybody can use. Or everybody can own it, and but everybody have to be able to use it. Let's say the system of traffic is quite a nice example of a commonized system. We will this year look more and more with all the partners in the topic of commonization, and to see how we can build new markets by unlocking new common protocols. And that's what this new chapter is all about. We feel that if there's still a centralized strategy, blockchain might not be the way to go. For example, IBM and Maersk, they publicly admitted that it is very hard to adopt the protocol. Why? They own the IP and it is an incremental change. But owning that IP is a huge dilemma for other partners to be on board of that consortium. You see all the consortia of the same breed of companies. Well, actually the consortium where there are a lot of different companies together, they are the most interesting ones. So our partners also that contribute the challenges for the teams to work on, they will be looking for partners to work with across many different industries, because that's basically where the magic happens. So I invite you all to open up that new chapter where we move away from Bitcoin is money to more like what can we do with tokens as information carriers in these kind of new public infrastructures. And where we move away from blockchain being mostly used as a database plus towards where can it actually make a difference. And everybody's here to find out. And everybody is here to help with that, help each other as well. Because every time a new protocol sees the light, a new market sees the light. There is no competition in this field because it's non-existent and we are creating it as we speak. So that's, I think, the exciting part, especially because we are here, because nowhere in the world these people come together and discuss it in a way we are doing today. So that's why it's very important that you all are here.